Hey everybody, this is Andre, and today I wanted to share a cool little trick with you that helps me to avoid dealer scams at salvage auctions that not many people know about. But before I do that, if you're interested in buying and selling salvage cars, I wanted to invite you to my brand new training. It's going to be happening on Monday, January 11th at 2 o'clock, and I'll be covering the whole process of buying and selling salvage cars from A to Z. So make sure to attend it. It's absolutely free. The link should be on the bottom of this video, and I'll see you guys on the training hopefully, and let's jump into the video. All right guys, so as I told you before many times, probably the main thing, the most important part of buying a salvage car is getting the right car, and not getting screwed. That's like 80% of success. Because if you buy a wrong car, if you buy a dealer car that was doctored up or something, you have a big chance to lose a lot of money. So how do we do it? How do we not get screwed? And obviously there are a lot of things that go into it, and I covered a lot of them in my videos before. But there is one cool little trick that I wanted to show you today that I don't think I spoke about it before. And how do you tell if it's a dealer or insurance company car? So let's look at this Toyota Highlander that one of you guys posted in the group the other day, Dmitro. And it's a 2017 Toyota Highlander, and I think, yeah, like I think the guy said, how come the insurance company totaled the car like this with no damage? And some of you guys in the group said that, oh, this is a dealer car that was probably fixed and put back in the auction. So I did a little research on it. Here's what I found. So like I told you guys before, right, if you in doubt if it's a dealer car or insurance company, you see I pulled it up on Copart website, this lot. So it says lot was already sold, and if you look at the description, it's really impossible to tell who the seller is. It doesn't say, which is pretty common with Copart. They don't list who the seller is, even if sometimes if it's an insurance company, they don't list the seller. So how do you know if it's a dealer or insurance company car? So the first thing I did, and let me just show you real quick the difference between IAA and Copart, two different auctions. So in IAA it's pretty straightforward. So let's say you look at this Mercedes 2018 Mercedes GLE, and right away you can tell, if you scroll down, right here it says seller State Farm Group Insurance. So IAA, most of the time, like I would say 80% of the time, 90% of the time they list who the seller is. If it's the insurance company, it's gonna say it's insurance company. And most cars at IAA are actually insurance cars. And if you see something like this at IAA, like this is 2019 Nissan NV200, as you can see, the loss type is other, and then the seller is empty right here. You don't know who the seller is. In this case, 99% of the time it's a dealer car. When you see other as a type of damage and the seller is not listed here, most likely it means that it's a dealer car and you should stay away from it. And sometimes there are exceptions to this. Sometimes they would list the loss type as other, and don't list the seller. Let's say when the car was a rerun, let's say somebody bought it and they never paid for it, so the IAA is rerunning the car, and they're gonna put the loss type to other and don't list the seller. But 99% of the time it's dealer cars. With Copart it's not so simple, because like I said, you look here, you don't see who the seller is, and it's pretty common. Sometimes they list it, sometimes they don't. So what you want to do, you go to there are a couple sites that I talked about before that let you guys see the history of the car, how much it sold for and stuff like that. And one of these websites is bidfax.info, right? So I went to this website, bidfax.info, right here. As you can see, I put in the lot number, and here's what I see about this Highlander, right? This is the VIN number. It says Final bid was $18,600. And let me move this again a little bit up. Yeah, like this. Alright, so the final bid was 18,600, and again it doesn't say who the seller is, but here is the little trick that actually told me this was the insurance company car. If you look here, see this field right here, it says estimated repair cost, and it says $11,808. So if you look at Copart description, right, this field is missing. There is no estimated damage field. Copart actually, before they used to have it, they used to list the estimated damage value, but then they removed it from the site. So now it doesn't show, but still they do have this information, and Bidfax is able to pull it from Copart website, and they actually list it here. So when you see this, when you see the actual estimated repair cost listed, it means most, like, again, 99% of the time this is an insurance company car, because with dealer cars this would always be zero, because when the dealer is running a car at Copart, I ran cars at Copart before, and they won't let you put the estimated repair cost. You know, they won't let you add it, because they say we don't know, like, if it's true or not. We don't want to misrepresent anything. But with insurance company cars, this information gets recorded in the system, and even though it doesn't show on the Copart website, here it shows, so you can see. And if it's listed, it most likely, like I said, it means it's an insurance company car. And then I started looking a little closer after I pull up the car on Copart website, which is actually another little trick that I use quite a lot. So if you notice here, the pictures are here, but the quality is not too good. You can't, like, zoom in, you can't, you know, make like HD pictures and stuff like that. But if you have the lot number, you can go on to Copart and just type the lot number in the search box, click search, and it's gonna pull up the lot even if it was sold. And here you can actually look, you know, you can press HD, you can look at HD pictures, you can zoom in, you know, so it's much more convenient to look. And then if you zoom in here, you see on the hood it says Travelers, and then something else, rerun or something like that. And the same thing you can see on the window right here, it says Travelers. So from my experience, I know that Travelers Insurance is the insurance company, and that's how I confirmed that this is an insurance car, most likely. Like I said, first of all, the estimated damage field, and then by looking at the pictures. Sure, you know, a dealer sometimes can write stuff like this too to deceive you on the car, but most of the time Copart would erase those writings from the windows. So I can tell you with like a 90% certainty that this is an insurance vehicle. And even though it doesn't have a lot of damage on it, like you guys mentioned in the group, there are many reasons why it could be totaled by the insurance company. It could have some undercarriage damage that you don't see in the pictures. It could have some hail damage. Sometimes even, you know, sometimes the car was repaired after like an accident, and the owner didn't like the repair, you know, or he has some issues with repair. Let's say the car was repaired, he's driving and he's hearing some noise, and then he complains to the insurance company and says, oh, you know, you guys didn't fix it the right way. And the insurance company, instead of trying to figure out what the problem is, they just total the car out, you know, even though after they already fixed it, even though they already paid for repairs, they just total the car and they send it to the auction. It's called rejected repair cars. These cars, I bought a few of those actually in the past, and they turned out pretty good cars. So yeah, so there are many reasons why they could total cars even with minimal damage. But that doesn't matter. So the only thing that really matters is to figure out if this is an insurance company or a dealer car. And as a contrast, let me illustrate this with this nice 2016 Porsche Macan. And this is actually, some of you guys might remember this car. This is our car. that I bought actually like a while ago. And if you look here on Bidfax history, as you can see, we bought it in April of 2019, I think it was. So it was like a year, almost a year ago. And when we bought it, it looked like this. All right, so it looks pretty scary. So as you can tell, a lot of parts are missing from here. And then, if you look closely, the damage, it's not really like, it wasn't really damaged that bad. It's just they took off a lot of parts. So you see the hood is missing, the bumper, all the cooling system, a lot of parts from the engine are missing. But the rest of the car looks pretty good. You see inside, no airbags deployed, everything is good. And this is how it looked like. And also it said engine start program, and it was sold by Travelers Insurance. So again, as you can see here, the estimated retail value was $43,000, and again, it was a year ago, so now it's obviously a little less. And estimated repair cost is $21,824. So again, as you can see, this was sold by the insurance company. And I bought this car thinking that, a lot of times what happens is, when something like this, a lot of parts are actually, they leave them in the car, in the back or in the trunk, the parts that they took off to estimate damage. So my hope was that when I'm gonna get it, the parts are gonna be inside the car, and we're gonna just put them back on, and if something will be missing, that's fine. And we got a really, really good deal on it. It was $11,600. Back at the time, these cars were selling for like 17, 18,000 and more. So I figured, okay, I'll get it, put the parts back on, and it's gonna be a pretty easy repair, especially it's the engine is running. So I decided to buy it, and then it turned out it was a big mistake. So in the end, what happened was, I had this car for almost a year, and when we got the car, there obviously were no parts inside. Not a single piece of plastic was inside. And I was like, man, this is like crazy. I'm gonna get stuck with this car. And then I started calling, looking for parts, and I realized the parts are super expensive for this car. Like some engine parts were missing. So like the intake manifold was missing. I found like a used one for $500 just for the intake manifold. Then all the pulleys, the belts, the cooling system, everything was missing. And I got really sad kind of about it, and I'm like, man, I'm gonna be stuck with this car. So in the end, the car was sitting here for a long time. First we tried to get it running, because it wasn't really running properly, because so many parts were missing. The vacuum lines, everything was missing. So little piece by piece, I was assembling this car, putting it together, and then in the end we were able to actually get this car running. And what I did was, I just bought some used body parts, like the hood, bumper, headlights, and stuff like that. And I made this car look like this. So the car was looking like this. We put the bumper on, headlights, the hood, and we bought all these covers here, the radiator, the engine cover, whatever. And I just sent it back to the auction. And these are the pictures from the auction. And we ran it we sold it like a month, less than a month ago, a couple weeks ago actually. And even though it says here final bid is $15,500, but we actually got like $14,000 for it, I believe. Yeah, somebody offered $14,000. And yes, somebody bought this car. So like I said, and if you look here now, guys, look, final bid is $14,000. Now the car runs and drives. Seller is not specified, so obviously, because it was our car. And again, if you look at estimated repair cost, it's zero, because it's a dealer car. So this is again just to illustrate my point about this little trick with estimated repair cost. You can use it when you're in doubt, if it's an insurance or dealer car, you can use this little trick to tell. And again, some of you guys may be thinking like, oh, Andre, you're just one of those scammers that sell these doctored up cars. Not at all, guys. We don't do it often. First of all, We only do it in the cases like this, where like basically we get stuck with the car. And you know, like I said, this car didn't even have that much damage, and originally I was thinking about like fixing it completely, but I just realized that if I just get all the parts and labor and everything, is just not worth it. So I decided to actually sell it the way it is, and let somebody who buys it actually finish the repair. I'm sure they're gonna be able to finish it. I think this car went to Ukraine or like somewhere overseas, and they're gonna probably finish it, and they're gonna have a nice car. But I'm sure this is not the worst car you can buy. At least this car, you saw the damage before, it wasn't that bad, you know, it's just missing parts. But with dealer cars, you can end up with buying like something really, really bad, smashed in the front, or like with some major frame damage, and you're gonna get stuck with the car. And again, this is part of the business, guys, whether you like it or not. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it, you know. That's why I'm making all these videos, and that's why you're in this group, so you don't buy something like that and you don't get stuck, you know, because things like this do happen. Some people, this is actually their primary business. All they do is buy really, really smashed and wrecked up cars, and they make them look like decent or nice, and they send them back to the auction and make a profit. We don't do that. The only way we do it sometimes is just to get rid of a car that we don't want, or something that had more damage than we expected. And that's why you have to be careful and always avoid dealer cars so you don't get screwed.